Obviously, they're making a phone call right now.
Yeah.
What's going on so far, in your opinion?
They've come to disconnect electricity supply, and they're wanting to take the fuse and the tails, which don't actually belong to them, but it's either that or they're going to dig the pavement up and disconnect it under pavement. So easiest option is let them take tails and fuse.
So currently you've got people on the phone at this end, you've got a private conversation going on at this end. 2 police cars have arrived. 1 initially with 2 police officers. They're here to prevent a breach of the peace. What happens now with this conversation will determine what happens next. In the meantime, let's see what happens. Right, so there's another conversation taking place now after a radio check. Making references towards the warrant, I do believe.
Right.
If that's all right.
Yeah.
We'll tell us.
Yeah, if you want to explain that you spoke to your guy,
Yeah.
that's the it's one of them. It's open and so it's gonna, you know what? It'll be all right.
Oh, we keep it back.
All right. Another good looking one, man.
Yeah.
This is Amanda.
It's just Amanda Jane.
Amanda Jane.
Colon Amanda hyphen Jane full
Okay.
stop.
All right. Well, so do you understand
I don't stand
in
on
basic
that.
terms why the police are here?
Yeah,
so-
to get it. You
Essentially, we're
basically
here to prevent
a breach of the
breach
peace.
of the peace.
And we're not creating a breach of the peace. You can ask your young police constable.
I've been talking for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I've not heard any rope, and I've been around here.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're here, essentially in exercising the magistrate's court warrant.
It's not a warrant, Doc. It's a document. The minute they take my property, I want to report a crime.
What if the warrant turns out to be an illegal or unlawful warrant? Where does that leave you?
Where does it
Because it's
leave
being
me?
brought to your attention.
I've not been exercising the warrant.
But you've been made aware it could be illegal or unlawful.
We'll come back to the police then if it's found to be fraudulent.
So you don't take that claim seriously at the moment then?
I would say that the onus is on the person contesting the warrant to take it back through the civil court.
Allegedly the electricity's turned up because they want to cut off the electricity. And the gas perhaps. In the meantime, let's have a look how thick these cables are. Hey, it's Paul, isn't it? Hi, Paul. How you doing?
What are you?
Yeah. Just documenting what's happening today. You probably know the score by now.
Yeah. Body spoke to Lade anyway, so just gonna come back and have a chat with you.
Yeah, there's some electricity being dug up around here, isn't there? Is that anything to do with what's happening today?
Don't know anything about it.
Separate issue.
Yeah, separate. It's no to do with us.
All right, fair enough. It's my understanding that she's no longer with Seeker.
Right, we're just contracting on for energy company.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
I see.
We're just contractor.
So the energy company, from my understanding, she's no longer with them.
That unfortunately can't go through because that's go through with customer only.
Fair enough.
Account, so just under data protection, I can't discuss anything.
There's quite a big interest in this kind of thing. House repossessions and all sorts now.
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
Hello, what's your one leaving here?
Yeah, no problem. She said you were waiting for everybody else
Can
to
I have
come
your
down.
name and number, please?
For
Yeah, it would be nice to get your names and numbers.
I can show me ID badge. I've already showed the lady my ID badge. Yeah.
It's got your name as well.
Yeah, sure, that was me.
Have you got the ID?
Oh, yeah.
Have you
It's
got
your ID, 17.
Have you got the ID badges?
I don't
Sorry,
know.
ID
No.
before, yeah.
I just need to make sure. What's your ID, chick?
There you go. What's that in
What's your name? I can't read it. I ain't got my glasses.
not on there.
What's your name?
Your name's not on there.
What? No, I'm asking you what your name is.
Be what you like. It's not on there.
We can be as rude as we like.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
You can phone the office
I'm just
and they'll give you all the
waiting.
details. 2727.
Is that your full number then? Yeah. 17371.
Yeah, that'd be number, yeah. It was ID badge.
Because he's got a few more numbers on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's only got 5 numbers with yours.
Yeah, changed it now, so it's
Oh,
101
1,
01 6845.
6, 8, 4, 5. Okay.
Are you going to give me your name?
Yeah.
No.
What's his number?
So this is his number.
Who actually see the one?
Do you actually take any notice of these signs?
Oh, read them, yeah. Do take them down, take photographs, present evidence to the company, that's it.
Did the company advise you what to do next according to these signs?
We just obviously pass information to the company and go from there.
Bit like a police interrogation, isn't it?
Yeah.
No comment.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
Have you been to many situations like this before?
We have done. Just part of the job, unfortunately. It's
How do you find them when you visit people like this? How do you find these?
always polite, professional, speak to people.
And how do the
That's
people
just
respond to you?
polite, professional back. We're just doing his job at the end of the day. We speak to people, everybody's human, that's it.
Do you have any advice to people watching this?
Just be in contact with people, speak to people, don't speak to them. That's it. We're only human, we're here to talk, aren't we? That's it.
I think you'd make a good diplomat.
Well,
Is that your job today,
if we
diplomacy?
retire, no, it's not. No, but we're just here to do his job at the end of the day. We don't. That's all we're here to do.
So while we're waiting, do you have any good jokes?
No. Oh, don't be all right. How are you going? How about you?
Here, chicks, I've got another letter for you.
Well,
Here. You've now been served. Here you go, dog. You've now been served. That's not funny. What's funny about that?
What's it actually about this document you
It's
passed?
harassment because they've been 4 times in past 8 weeks, and that amounts to harassment. 2 times constitutes harassment. They're coming for a name that's not even me, so my name's on there, and their IDs and names on there. So now I'm going to be taking a private prosecution out against both of you.
Will I be able to see a copy of this later?
Yeah, I'll show you. Can photocopy them. I'll get you some photocopies because I've had enough of this. This is harassment. They can see I've applied to another company to get my, and that's the National Grid. You know what we the people own? I've applied to another company, and what they're doing amounts to harassment now because I don't have a contract with this company, and they're third-party interlopers, and I'm just had enough of it. They're completely stressing me out, and they're causing me distress, knowing full well that I'm a vulnerable. And I can't take this no more. That's why I said to him earlier, if you're going to dig it up, dig it up. I'd rather go out, but I'm still going to take them to court. I've had enough. I've got the original letters inside. So, right, Bill and Dawn, and do you want to come in? And just don't talk
Yeah, why not?
to
We'll
me,
all
so
stop here,
you
yeah.
don't mind, do you?
Yeah, no.
All right.
What are you here for today then, Paul?
It's wrong what they're doing to people.
I can't say what for the officer of protection, but obviously ladies' consent again. Also, we have been here before.
Amanda,
Hello?
can Paul talk to me?
Yeah, you both got my authority to talk on my behalf. Whatever questions you want to ask them, ask them. Is that on camera? Is that on voice?
Got it on audio, yeah.
Yeah, it's just evidence. But I need all evidence when I go to court because I can't take it.
A bit same to what we were last time.
I've had enough.
Because obviously meters being put back on by somebody who's not registered to do so. Company, I'm going to speak to ladies to do it in a minute. We want to see what we did, basically what we did last time. But obviously peaceful, that's why they're here.
Just to have a look at them.
Obviously, look, we'll take photographs of what he's done, take pictures. We obviously do it peacefully. We did obviously like we did what we did last time. Obviously disconnect supply. Obviously, if we can leave the meeting on site, I'll speak to office. But that's what they wanted to do today.
On behalf of who?
On behalf of the supplier. Because
What supply?
suppliers, obviously, we're the registered supplier.
No, who's that?
Same way last time we were here.
But she's not being
But
supplied
also,
by them.
because it is that somebody else has gone into it who's not registered, obviously I have the responsibility to make sure that's safe.
Yeah.
So that's why we come around to make sure we're doing what we need to do.
Right. Well, you can photograph it, and that's it.
Yeah, obviously we do what we did last time, exactly the same what we did last time. So keep the meter there, but obviously be energised.
What? Just pull the wires out?
Take wires out and do what we did last time.
How do you mean? Last time?
Last time
Yeah,
we took the wires out and obviously leave the meter in.
Yeah.
I mean, the
You
energy
took
and all the
you
fuse.
took the wires
Wires
and
and
the
the fuse out. That's
off,
right.
so-
Yeah. So it's
It-
obviously not. So it's not connected. It's safe.
So
We
you want
just
to
set it
take
up
the wires and the fuse this
Yeah,
time?
exactly what we did last time. So
But
that means
them wires and the fuse belong to her now.
fine. But obviously they shouldn't have gone into that. So we remove it, make it safe, and that's we've done as far as we're concerned. Then obviously we advise customer then if it
But
happened
if you
again.
take the wires and the fuse this time, you're stealing them because they belong to her.
Well, obviously they're asking us to set the meter, but obviously we'll ring the office and say that it's not Jobson because it's their property, but obviously we remove everything to make it safe.
Yeah.
So we would rather just take the fuse and the tails and make it safe.
No, you
But
can't
obviously
do
she
that. You
keeps the
can go in
property.
and photograph it, and that's it.
Right, they're asking obviously to pull the supply, so
Just out of curiosity, is it a safety check you want to do?
it's,
Are you quite capable of just doing a safety check?
obviously because it's not being done by anybody who's registered on the network to work on it, or on that unit, then obviously they need to have the proper official seals on it or registered by the supplier in that area. So that work's been done.
Do you have a warrant?
Yes, I do.
All right. And when did you get that warrant?
We're up to in the 14th at 7.
Can I have a
Same
look
place
at
last-
that one?
Yeah, I can let the lady take a photograph. That's not a problem. She wants to do that, but obviously I'll pass up the details.
So is it all digital on there?
All digital there again, same as
What
last time.
signature have you got?
It's just printed. It's just printed. They don't have signatures anymore.
There's no signature. It's not a warrant then. It's not a legal
So it's same
warrant.
as last time. So that's what
And-
we're considering.
Because she's not contracting to OVO, which she did it for last time. She's no contract with,
It's obstructing electricity.
because she's no contract with OVO, that one is null and void.
Still obstructing obviously electricity on that thing.
Yeah.
Obviously needs to be done.
Yeah, and
by
she's
somebody-
applied to National
Somebody say, I
Grid.
understand that if you've been
Yeah.
being applied and it's been accepted by them, and then it's moved across, and that's a different story then. But obviously in the meantime, like it's been done not correctly.
But she's
Well,
still not contracting to OVO.
Well, the
So
supply.
if you've come on behalf of OVO,
The supply is still run by them. You need to make it
No,
safe.
it
If someone's
isn't.
gone into
It isn't. It isn't.
But the option is
Because
obviously we can
all-
do it peacefully. Obviously, we can just do that now and get it done what we did last time. I'm not have to get any disruption here and cause any grievance, anything like that. And obviously we can do that. But the company would rather do it that way. And we would rather do it peacefully and get it done out of way, and we've done that.
What's alternative?
Alternative, you have to get obviously police out, and then possibly might have to potend it in your street, dig it up from the
Police?
street.
No.
So the whole option is digging it up from the street, which obviously we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So our option is to do that politely today, what we did last time. Leave a letter and that's it. We'd advise the customer, obviously not to
You can
reconnect it again.
disconnect it, but you can't take the wires and you can't take the fuse.
We'd have to go them out to make it safe, obviously, that's it.
Yeah.
So leave the meter in situ, I can see if they'll let me do
Yeah,
that.
but you
Because they'd
can't
ask me
take
to
the wires
evidence.
or the fuse because that's stealing.
Right, I'll get officer ring then, see what we go from there. Then I was going to make a phone call now then.
Yeah.
And see what they said. But if you're, well, we'll negotiate. I'm not here.
You can, yeah. You can
I'm not
come
here,
in.
I'm not here trying to
You
be
can
a bull or
come in,
anything
you
like that. I'm
can
not trying to harass
disconnect it.
anybody here.
You can come in, you can disconnect
I'll give him a
it,
ring then.
but you've got to leave the stuff there.
Yeah, I'll give him a ring then, see what they say.
Yeah.
Just finally,
Well-
is there actually a name on there that's actually printed for the warrant who authorised it?
Yeah, well, I can give a copy and she can take
Okay.
a photograph of that, yeah. If she wants an actual official copy, she can apply to court and get a
Yeah.
copy if she wants to do that admin wise.
But the thing is, what you got to, and you know as well as I do, if you come on behalf of OVO, then
Oh, sorry, it's SSE.
SSC.
SSE, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's not contracting to any of them.
The supply, the network is still registered to that. You're like, so
No.
another company to
Yeah,
supply
but the
takes it over.
supply is from National Grid.
The supplies from National Grid up from it's the main supply, the main supply
SSC,
up to the
OVO,
cutout.
Eon don't supply anything but bills.
The main supply up to the cutout is done by the grid.
Yeah.
Everything from the cutout upwards is obviously responsibility of a supplier, which the bill goes through, or the lady's trying to.
Yeah, but she hasn't got anything that belongs to
the
them.
lady's trying to go through that as an option, but there's nothing in place at the moment, so she's still still registered under supply. When if she moves to somebody else, or applies to somebody else, they'll apply to take that supply from the old supplier, which will be registered then. If it moves, then obviously, if she goes to another supplier, then it's registered to move. But at the moment,
She's her own supplier.
at the moment it's still registered. It's still registered as
It's
SSC
her
supply
meter.
until, like she says, the ladies applied to grid. If grid decide to take that supply off for SSC, then it becomes the grid supplier then.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's still registered as SSC. Obviously, at the moment, we're still trying to make that safe. Because
It don't matter what it is on register. The fact is, she's broken a contract. When you all came here last time, by taking the tails, taking the meters, and taking the fuels, you all officially broke the contract for SSE. So she's not contracted to anybody. You know that. That is the law.
To make that safe, though, if someone who's been into it who's not legally qualified to do that, you obviously need to do that.
How do you know that?
Well, yeah, everybody engineer works on it needs to be registered on the grid, and have a set of seals and set of crimps that says that you worked on that. If somebody, I don't know, Dave from Dark Street's done it because he's a good friend or being an electrician, has done it, and then comes and does it, he's not instructed to work on it. We don't know if it's safe or not. Don't know if it's safe at neighbours. It could cause damage, could cause some fire, and you don't want that. So we're here to also make sure that it's safe. Well, I'll go make a phone call to the office now anyway.
Right.
And I'll come back to you in a minute. All right, yeah.
Right.
Just finally, for transparency, because the judge is publicly funded, could you just name the judge? Transparency.
Yeah, I'll do it when she comes. All right.
Just tell me her name. It's fine. Him or her. Just for transparency.
No. Can I have a chat with you?
Hey?
Can I have a chat with you?
Yeah. Tell me. All right.
I could do with chatting.
Hang on.
Miss L. Reid, it says.
Oh,
Miss L. Reid.
Miss. So that's not a judge. Because it's
Is
a
the JP
JP.
after the name anywhere? Or a
And it
JP?
says Miss A. Callow, an official of the court. 25th, 14th at 7:20.
In what
So it's
capacity?
2023. That's what it's printed on the.
What
the warrant.
capacity though? Cleaner? Cool.
That's what it just says on the warrant. That's why they get printed off. They're not the signatures anymore. That's
It's
what
not
we
a
get
judge,
from them.
It's not a judge.
So we get a copy of the lady if she wants to take a photograph in a minute.
So that's null and void for the start on 2 points.
So I'll go and get a lady and come
Yeah.
back to you. I'll go and ring my office and then come back to
All
you
right then.
from there. Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Thank you.
All right then, Paul.
This is just an update now. It's been about 5 or 10 minutes. And I think they're just trying to contact the office to see what the next plan of action is.
So my way of thinking as a layperson, when she's applied repeatedly to National Grid to have a non-commercial agreement, it ought to be on hold until that's resolved. She's got proof that she sent letters to National Grid for a non-commercial agreement and they're not replied to her. So to my way of thinking, this all ought to be on hold until they've responded.
Right, Paul.
Scott, you alright? Not hitting you.
Hey?
Not hitting you, I thought. Alright. Go back round and just tell her what's going to happen. And
Right.
we'll move out when she can take that copy of warrant then.
Yeah.
Sound sync. Action.
Right, turn me off. So, we just rung our office. They've obviously I don't know if you explained to what we did last time.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing as last time.
Well, just take everything.
Secondly, we obviously want to take the meter.
You can't take the meter, that's there.
So, in that instance, they're asking us to contact the police. So they'll come in and let you know that, because like you said, I'd let
So
you know.
you're phoning police?
So they would ask us to ring the police. We're going to withdraw from the site until they turn up. So leave her in peace.
Well, that's stupid.
I'm just telling you what I've been asked.
Just hang on. Listen.
Oh, sorry.
So and then we'll come back with him and that will go from there.
Well, they ain't coming in, please.
Well, I'm just letting you know. I thought,
Why are you
thought
ringing police?
So-
It don't matter.
I've got decency to let you know what we're happening because you asked us to.
Yeah,
I
right.
thought I'd come round and be polite and tell you
So-
what's happening.
So when I've discussed it with the manager,
Yeah.
we've decided you can go in and take the tails and the fuse,
Yep.
take photographs,
Yep.
and leave them.
I'll ring office again. I'll ring office and ring them back
Yeah.
with all that then.
Yeah.
Before I ring police and
Yeah.
we can go
I
from
don't
there.
want
Then.
you to ring police.
Well, we don't particularly want to do that, but obviously they seem you want to take it for evidence wise. But I'm just middleman. I'll just report it back. So
Yeah.
You
But if
can't
they
take
do
what-
that,
Yeah.
they
You
steal it.
can't take my meter,
Yeah.
that's
That's
mine,
theft.
that's my private property,
Yeah.
and that would be fair.
yeah,
And then that would be something else I'd be adding when I take you to court.
yeah.
And I'm going to do it, I'm not joking with you.
That's all right.
It's
Yeah,
simple fact.
you're right to do that. It's
You're not, you're just doing your job just
Yeah.
like Hitler's men did.
yeah.
You know, you're breaking law, and
Yeah.
this is what's annoying.
I'll just thought come and be polite and tell you what it is.
Yeah, I know, and I
Want you-
appreciate you doing
Have you
that.
got your camera so you want to take a picture of this wall? Like, you obviously want to take a picture, right?
Oh,
Could you actually email?
can you
I
email
can't,
it to me?
unfortunately, no. You can take a picture from it, but if you want a legit copy, you need to apply for the.
Well, they won't give me
court.
one last time when
You
I
have to apply
applied
to
for
the
it.
court for
Do
impeding.
you
No,
want me to
when
take
I
a
got in
picture?
contact with SSE, I did a freedom of information request, listed what I want, and they refused to give it, man.
Yeah, they won't get it from
No, I'll
SSE.
take a
If
picture.
you send it at the court, they'll give you a copy from the actual court.
Well, it's not got a court, a judge's name on it, has it?
So we've applied to the Peterborough court, you can get the actual.
Well, that's out of jurisdiction as well.
Do you want to take a picture of it and then apply anyway?
Yeah.
You could also do a subject access request to this company
Yeah,
for a
well,
copy
that's
of
what I
that. 'Cause it's got
did.
your name on it.
And
want
they
me to
just,
take a
they just
picture?
refused to give it, mate. I've got the emails to prove it.
I prefer to get customer, that's all right. No,
All right.
just-
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
No problem. No problem.
So the lady asked for it, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bit more information as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you look into them, very digital warrants.
Yeah. Been like that for years now, they've changed it.
Yeah,
Used to
since
go to court.
2000.
Of course, we're overrun with stuff. We can't.
2000.
Is that the lady's phone, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see that for the light?
No, I can't.
Yeah. I'll go give him a phone call then, see what
Yeah.
he said, I'll come back and let you know, so I'm just.
Them digital warrants, if you look up the law on them, it actually mentions that they came in 2000, and they're for commerce. Doesn't mention anything about warrants or courts and tribunals.
Right.
It's commerce.
Is that warrant a commerce warrant?
I'll look, see what it says.
There's a discrepancy on this warrant. That's not my name.
Just to speak to magistrate's court, that's all it says.
That,
Last
a
time.
civil matter-
So you don't know whether it's a warrant for commerce?
That's not my
It does
name.
say on there, it just says it's a magistrate court from last time, exactly the same.
This is this is the name of a dead person, because you only get somebody's name in capital letters on in a graveyard, and that's not my name. I
Right.
don't have a title.
No problem. Well, I'll go and make a phone call to the office and come back and let you know
Right.
what's happening. So,
I don't
So-
want police coming here with my granddaughter. I'd rather you just come in, do what you're doing, and go off. and
yeah,
leave me alone.
I'll let office know that, and obviously they'll make a
Yeah.
decision from
Yeah.
there.
Because you're telling
But
my
leave
granddaughter's
me to
here, and what
first.
that amounts
Yeah,
to
I'll ask them.
is if you
Yeah.
bring that's child abuse.
Well, I'm just doing what they instruct me
Yeah,
to,
you're
to
doing
do.
your job.
Why
like
don't you
Hitler's
go and
men
make his
did.
I'll go
phone
make a
call?
phone call, go and ask, and I'll
All
come
right,
back
you
and
do what you
come
do,
back and let you know. I'm not here to cause you any distress or anything, but
Well, it's too late.
I'm just
you've been
I'm just
causing
here
it
to
that.
come and be honest with you and just explain what happened.
I know.
That was it.
But
Obviously, we
what
have
I'm
different
saying is-
opinions. You obviously don't agree, and obviously we're just doing a job. So,
Yeah, exactly. Doing your job like Hitler's men
so
did.
I'll go make a phone call, come back to you, and
Right, I'll
let
see
you
you
know.
in a bit then.
Thank you.
This is like some Nazi communist state now, you know. There's one I can't stand this country.
It's been a short while now. It's going to come round now and see what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Put it to them and see what they say.
Yeah.
So we're going to move a far that way. If you can let the lady know. And then if they do turn up, we'll let you know. If you decide to change their mind, then I'll come back
Yeah,
and let you know
yeah,
either way. So that's where it's at the minute.
All right, then.
So I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
just put it on phone off or something. So
Yeah.
hopefully we had it with. It's not mistake.
All
What
right.
to do.
Right, you know, right, so, yeah, it's...
Well, I moved here because I don't want to block that little cul-de-sac. You know, it's
Yeah.
off the street light so somebody can get past. But
Yeah.
we don't know block it. So it's a bit tight down there. And
I'll just go and tell her that...
the lady said, she said, obviously, you have a few of your friends turning up, so obviously
Yeah.
you can all park down there. That's all the park here. So
Yeah.
we're not trying to get it going.
No, we know that.
Right, we're going to fight away then and let you know what's happening. If you come back out of the way, hopefully we'll sort it out. So,
All right.
but yeah, just see what happens.
All right.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
what happened last couple of times when he came and then just disappeared?
Yeah, we just get instructed what to do.
Just got a phone call.
Yeah.
What was in that phone call?
It's regarding Amanda in Sheffield. From what I can make out, Seeker trying to gain access to her property again after they've collected their meters. She's received a final notice, a final bill, and she's even received a letter off them saying that they've disconnected and collected their meters and they're still coming back for safety checks. From what I've just heard, they're starting to take the actual fence apart now. Not just the locks, they're taking the fence apart to gain access.
Should we just go and inspect that fence?
Yes.
They took them out of this front panel so they can get that one off and let themselves in.
Yes.
And I told him, I says, you're committing fraud. I says, at the end of the day, I says, we don't have a contract. I says, we don't have a non-commercial agreement. So what you're doing is now harassment.
Last couple of times she says, I've told them my representative's coming in, but time we've got it, you've gone, and it's like...
Yeah.
Playing games.
We're instructed by it.
Yeah.
For them, so we think we can change back to the instructions that we've had to do.
Yeah.
So that's all we do.
Yeah.
Contact them, then we just do their work on their behalf. So
And by the way, just to confirm, is it the electric meter or the gas
Just
and
the electric meter.
Electric meter, yeah.
we're to all day today. So,
Yeah.
so we'll move out of the way so not to disturb anybody and then we'll come back and let you know.
All right then,
That's all right.
Yeah.
Good from there.
Yeah. Catch
Yeah,
you
no
later.
problem. Take care. See you in a bit.
All right then. Cheers.
So it looks like, for an update now, they might come back later. They're currently doing a process where they are waiting for people to give them answers. And we'll be here waiting. I just need locking out. Thank you very much. Don't let me back in.
Okay. All right then.
Why are you actually here today?
We're just here to prevent a breach of the peace. That's all we're here for. They've got their job to do, so we're here just to make sure nothing bad happens. Basically, it all runs as planned, and I'm sure he's informed you of what he's come for earlier when he came earlier.
There has been a conversation taking place earlier, but I'm not privy to all that conversation, and I don't remember everything. But
Okay.
I'm just going to document what happens today.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait for them to come and he can explain to you why he's here. Yeah. Obviously, it's separate to why we're here. We're just here to make sure everyone's all right.
In the meantime, your colleague looks new.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got more in than there.
Really? Can I just ask you both how long you've been police officers?
Does it matter?
No,
Does it
not
matter for your
really. Some people
documentary?
are actually interested in how long police officers, because you all look young these days.
Yeah, we do. To be fair, yeah.
Is there any particular length of time you want to disclose?
Just over 3 years.
That's a good time, yeah. You've got past your probation then.
Yeah.
Who's the higher ranking in you two?
We're both same. So PCs.
You're not constables anymore, are you?
Police constables, yeah, PCs.
I'm confused. There's constable, there's police constable, and there's police officer. What's the difference?
Same. I think they're both same.
All right, well, I won't bore you anymore. I'll let you get on with your job.
No, I'm not the lady involved. No, I just.
So, maybe people watching this, you can actually tell me what's the difference between a police officer, a police constable, and a constable.
You know, because that's the one time an employee can tell the employer, you know, they're being off running their employer.
Yeah.
But an employee can tell their employer when it's health and safety.
So is that your concept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done, well, they've not mentioned risk assessment.
Okay.
You can crack their knuckles, can't you?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a fight?
I crack my fingers. Oh no, I'm not a fighter, me.
Can I just say, a dynamic risk assessment would need to take place today, because if the lady relies on anything, you know, that's in a fridge, for example, if they're going to cut that off, it's just my observation. Sorry?
Do you live in them?
No, no.
Okay. So how come you're here?
I'm documenting today a public interest, you know. Everybody's interested in the police and how they behave themselves, because it's quite good these days, isn't it, how they behave themselves?
Yeah.
Before your time.
Yeah.
You're the change, are you?
I don't know, if you say so.
We like to think so.
Yeah.
So, Seeker, I do believe, have arrived on behalf of somebody. It might not even be Seeker. I'm going to find out, actually. Could put that music on now, the bill. Be interesting now to see if there's any collusion takes place. I'd like to think there won't be, but we'll see, won't we?
Obviously it's not to do with us, so we're just here to make sure you can get your jobs done and then we can all go, can't we? I just need to see you.
Should we let it go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously it's all by to move the meets do everything was on site
Who, sorry?
by the supplier. There was a room with the meter what's on site.
You're to remove it.
There's evidence and reseal it. We cut out basically grain powder comes in, remove the fuse, reseal everything back up, and we reseal it back up.
Okay.
But the object obviously just to remove everything. That's what asking us to do.
Okay,
No, that's fine, yeah, whatever you got to do.
Somebody's actually raised a point that the person who signed the warrant might not have been a justice of the peace. Can you just double check that?
Say that again.
The person listed on the warrant, they've actually told us the name, might not be a justice of the peace who signed the warrant. It could be a caretaker, because there's no JP after the name.
Like I said to you, that's nothing to do with us.
Okay.
That's down to the courts. Yeah? Okay.
Do you believe it were a justice of the peace?
That's what it says on the warrant, so
Does it say justice of the peace?
it does say just a little piece, but it's signed by the court, so all good is what it says on the court.
Right, so the police now are going around observing the peace. Any breach of the peace today, they will be potentially arresting people.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
Come on, he's got a warrant, you need to let him in.
Pardon?
He's got a warrant, you need to let him in.
It's
Sorry.
got a legal warrant though,
Warrant.
on a few accounts.
Oh my God, this sends school
For
kids.
a start, it's not signed by a judge. And SSE have no jurisdiction here.
You've got to let him in. He's got a court warrant, I've seen it.
No,
It's not a court warrant. It's not
Not
got a
a
judge's
court
name.
warrant.
It's got the name of a Mrs. or a Mr. But I've already said
It's not
that
got-
they can come in, but they still chose to phone you. There's no problem here.
Can you let him in then?
If
I
you
said
can,
they can come in.
oh, if they can come in, it's no. They can come in. We don't need to come
I've
in.
already told them that, so they've wasted your
Yeah,
time.
we don't need to come in, we just need to make sure they just get the job done and that's it.
It's not.
What's
Right,
yours?
have you done a risk assessment? Have you done a risk assessment? This is under health and safety. I'm a vulnerable, I've got disabilities. Have you done a risk assessment?
What I've done before, yeah.
Well, you haven't, otherwise you wouldn't have left me where I couldn't get out and house and I were isolated. So that's not a risk assessment. Have you
So
got a
maybe
copy of that
meter's
risk
been put on.
assessment?
The meter's obviously being put on, obviously
Have
we're
you
taking
got
to
a
take the
copy of the
meter.
risk assessment you clearly
We have a
claiming?
risk assessment for yourselves.
Where is it?
Obviously for yourself, you've had the opportunity to obviously
No,
to
no,
do
no,
with
no.
that.
A
to
risk
speak to the
assessment needs
supplier.
to be done on paper. Have you two done a risk assessment?
They've got a
No, no, no,
they've
no.
got a
There's
warrant.
no.
It's not
Health
to do
and
with the
safety.
police side.
So
it's
what you
their,
doing here if it's not to do with you?
So they've got one to come in, so we're just here to make
It's
sure
not a warrant. It's not got a judge's name on it. But like I said, I even told them before they phoned you I'd let them in.
Alright.
So they've just wasted your
Will
time.
you let him in then?
I've said I'll let them in.
Alright,
That's all. That's all.
Right, and I'm not being funny. I don't want you coming in. You're a public servant.
No, it's
But
fine.
at the end of the day, there should be a risk assessment on paper because of my
We'll have to take
disabilities and
meters
my
evidence because
illnesses.
it's on there.
And there's been no
That's all
risk
asking us to
assessment.
do,
That's
take
health
it.
and safety because
Take the
now
meter, move it,
they're
and put
going to
that
cause me
take
all
the
the
evidence, that's it.
Tell your bosses.
Sorry, I'm just
And what they're going to do is I want to report a crime that's going to take place because I have reasonable cause that they're going to steal something from my property. So I want to report a crime. You work, you're public servants in public office, you work for us. You work for the right. So I want to report a crime that's going about to happen. They're coming in to steal my property because it's my property, not theirs. They've already taken theirs. So I want to report a crime that's going to be taking place. And I've got reasonable cause that they're going to be stealing my property. So what are you going to do about it?
They've got a magistrate's warrant.
That's
there,
not a
the thing.
magistrate's warrant. This is a civil matter, so it shouldn't be in magistrate's court.
Your magistrate is what magistrate's warrant, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Signed by a magistrate.
It's been signed by somebody called Mrs. That's not a judge or a justice of the peace or a magistrate. They have to sign as a judge or a justice of the peace or a magistrate. I could sign that document and then they could say it were a warrant. What they're doing is illegal. What they're doing is harassment, and now they want to come and steal my property and you're going to allow it. This is all on camera. It's all being recorded.
I know.
Yeah.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Who do I need to? Who do I get in touch with to get a copy of your video recordings?
I don't know if you can give them out.
Oh, you can. You can do freedom of it. You can.
If you ring 101, then they'll be able to put you through to someone in order to get.
Hold on, let me get a pen because I need you two ladies' numbers and names. And
Yeah,
have you
that's
got your
fine.
warrant cards?
Yeah.
I was just
Can
trying
I just ask what?
As a one-time employees can tell the bosses what to do is health and safety.
We've already told them that. That's why
Yeah.
we'll get sent out. That's me for.
Yeah. She does have multiple health problems.
So have you come
We
in
have
the
done that, we have done that
capacity
before.
of police constable or police officer?
We're police officers.
You're not police officers. If you swore an oath, you're a
We're
constable.
police constable there.
Right, so you're acting in the capacity of a constable.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, I like that, and it's all recorded.
Can I just ask you, what's your property that you think they're going to steal?
Oh, they're going to steal my tail, what I paid for, you know, to have my... and do you know the best thing about it? I'm waiting to from National Grid. To hear from National Grid, I've been in touch with them to get my supply from them. Well, I don't have a contract with these. So what they're doing is committing fraud.
Right.
You had your final bill.
Could you just clarify then?
I've had the final bill and it's been sorted. So why these are real?
Well, we don't know anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. So you've come blind and you're siding with these.
Well, they've just got a magistrate's warrant, that's all.
That's not a warrant. A warrant has it got a court stamp and seal on it and signed in wet ink by a judge? Is that what it is? This is what I'm saying. I mean, you're supposed to be constables and you don't know the law. Otherwise, you'd be checking that warrant out to see if it were real.
We've had a look at it.
Oh, you've had a look. Anybody
You know
can...
what warrant looks like?
It's an uttered document. It's an act of uttering, which is fraud under the Fraud 2006 Act. That is not a true warrant from a court. And if it were from a court, it would be from a Sheffield court. Not from a court out of the jurisdiction.
Okay. Do you want the incident number from today?
Hold on, Constable, what you say your name is?
So it's 1252, my caller number.
Constable 1252. Have you got a name?
Barber.
Barbie.
Barber.
Barber.
Yeah.
Oh, I nearly put Barbie in all. Barber. And what's yours, Stuck?
1732 is my caller number.
1732.
And then Kenyon, Kenyon.
Kenyon.
Yeah, Kenyon.
You're Barbie and Ken.
That's what I mean. Are they really your real names?
Barbie and Ken.
Are they your Christian names?
Last names, yeah.
No, I said your Christian names, not your family names. Are they your Christian names or your family name?
Christian.
Family name.
They're your family name. So, On this alleged warrant, the name's all in capital letters. I've got ID. That's not me.
What, your name on that warrant's not you?
No, my name is not on that warrant. I don't
Oh,
have a
right,
name. I
sorry,
am
I'm
known
just
as Amanda
sure.
Jane. I've got my ID from common law court. I've got my ID, and I've told them before that that is not my name. So that is a discrepancy on a warrant. It's all in capital letters for a start. That means that's a dead name. The only way you get capital letters on a name is in a graveyard. Since when did I die? This is what I'm saying. They don't teach at law. You're supposed to be here about law, and they're not even teaching you law. You don't know law, and yet you're coming and enforcing something you haven't got a clue about.
I'm not enforcing it. We're just here to prevent a breach of peace. These guys have got
There's
jobs
been
to
no
do.
breach of peace. They
You'll
phoned
be
you.
fine, but you
They
said you're gonna let
phoned
him in.
you and wasted your time when you could be out dealing with real crime.
Do you want the incident number?
Yeah, give us incident
It's
number.
410.
Hold on 2 minutes. Incident number 410.
410 of today's date.
What's it? It's 9th, isn't it?
It's
So is it
9th,
09 you put?
Yeah, just 09.
9 of the... No, is it what month?
8.
8.
Yeah.
9,
2020.
8...
And then put 23 at the end.
Not 23, so it's just 23.
Yeah. And then when obviously you ring up, pass him that number, then the day
Yeah.
month thing, yeah, then it'll be straight up.
But are you not going to check the authenticity of this document? And basically, you need to do a risk assessment because I'm a vulnerable. I've got cancer, I've got Raynaud's, and what they're doing now when they do this and steal my property
Have you
because
explained to this lady what you're going to do?
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Yeah,
yeah,
going to do.
they're going to steal my property.
Remove the tails and remove the fuse. We'll put the seals back on. The cut tap. And that's
That's
it.
it. That is my property. What
Put
I
back safe,
paid
so this is
for.
it, yeah.
Why would you remove something that's not yours?
It's theft. They're removing
Because it's been
something
put
that
on
I've
not
paid
correctly.
for.
But it's not yours to remove.
It's
Let
been
me
put
show-
on
let
not
me
correct.
show you
It's
some
not
of
the right
these.
meter, is it?
How do you know it's not correct?
Well, if it's been fitted by a registered engineer, they qualified and they're registered on the network to work there. That's being put on by somebody who's not registered on the network.
But it's not your property. So why would you want to steal somebody else's
Because
property?
it's evident. Because obviously that's as there is being
But if you're
reconnected.
stealing, if I come and take something belonging to you, that's
Right.
theft. It's misappropriation of property.
Which obviously it's been put.
What I've wrote
I
to
can't
National
see.
Grid
Irrelevant whether it's put on
Society
correctly or not.
and
It's still
They're
misappropriation of property.
ignoring that.
Well, if you're out to office, obviously you get your meter back. Obviously you can hold it as evidence to take it back.
Yesterday.
But obviously for meantime, obviously while it's on site, they're asking to do it.
Just give me
I
the
don't-
text.
My contract with this alleged company, SSE, ended in March.
Okay.
And since March, here you go, hold on, where is it?
You would know more. You know about this
Yeah.
more than me. So I'm just studying. I've never met this lady before. I don't know anything about this job. So
Here you
you're
go,
better explain it than
30th day
me.
of March.
I'm obviously here just to prevent a breach.
So if you
Yeah.
know somebody's going to
You need to speak up and tell them why you're here.
Yeah, so remove it. Obviously we're here to
I have
remove the
reasonable
electricity.
cause to believe you're going to steal my property. And under section 24 of peace, I can do a citizen's arrest on them as well, you know.
But he's got right. You explain to her why you've got this warrant.
So the warrant is obviously coming here because obviously the meter's been put back on since last time when we were.
But I am not with SSE.
Just for explain.
The warrant is not to
What
remove
is-
stolen
somebody's
property.
gotta-
Not
It's
property
the
that's
movement
not
to
yours.
make it safe.
No,
Obviously
the
it's been
warrant
put
is
back
to
on.
enter.
It's been being put on. So
If
remove
the
it as
warrant-
evidence.
If
Also,
the
because
warrant
they're on
is,
supply.
if the warrant is legit, the warrant is to enter.
Enter. It's
You're
not to do
entering
anything
to
else.
see
it's
if
just
it's
to
safe,
enter.
and then you're going to remove property that's not
the pro-
yours.
Yeah, remove it to make it safe.
But it's
because
not your property to
because someone's
remove.
gone back into it as it was left safe last time. Someone's gone back into it and
But it's
reconnected
not
it.
your property
Yes,
to
by
remove.
somebody
But
qualified.
they're not registered to be on that.
now
So that's
there's a police officer
That's
here.
just had an
And
health
we're
and safety
reporting.
check from council. That's just had one. That's passed with flying colours. So there's no issue with that. And there's no issue with that because they also looked at that.
Okay.
Council won't look at that because
Excuse me,
they'll
yes, they did.
do safety checking.
So who-
And if you go
who-
and have a look on government website, it says it's
Who
the
are you
landlord's
acting for?
responsibility.
We're acting on behalf of the supplier, which is
Which supplier?
SSE.
No,
Well,
no,
no,
there is no supplier
our
because the
contract
contract
ended.
finished.
My contract ended with SSE
There is no
on
supplier.
29
It's still
December,
still
I've had my
registered
The
final.
to
lady
SSE.
has
And I was going
contacted
for
the National
somebody- Here, I'll
Grid,
show you
has sent
letters.
them readings to the National Grid. So SSE has nothing whatsoever to do with it.
Discuss that with left in that state, with left state.
No,
If we left
listen,
it left safe, then
it's
somebody's
nothing
put back
to do
onto
with
it.
SSE because the lady has finished with her contract. You've taken out your goods previously.
We didn't take it out; they're already taken out for us.
You've
So
taken
some,
your
some,
vote.
somebody already removed it without being taken off
So
officially.
you've got back
We-
your
well,
goods. Yeah. Now the goods is not
Yeah,
belonging
the
to you.
last letter
The
is
supply is
first
not
one.
your boss.
Now you
Yeah.
read what
So
I've
you're
wrote on
entering
there, and
fraudulently.
that's my name.
We'd ask them to
there,
make it
that's
safe
how
because
it's
obviously
wrote.
someone else has put it back on, as it's not, but
So
not registered.
Whether this
You're going to
Miss
steal
Phillips
somebody
is,
else's
it's not
property.
me, that's my
That's
name.
simple.
That is
Just
what
put it down
I
as
know,
evidence
that's
for
what
that.
my mother called
Just
me,
put it
not
down
what
for
they
evidence
call
because
me.
it's
But
there
if
on
you have a
site.
gold chain on your neck, if I come now and take the gold chain off your neck, this police officer is going to say I'm misappropriating property and stealing.
And then the-
But I,
my property.
This is proof
that's
of
completely
custody.
different from
No,
that scenario, though, isn't it?
It's
Even got back in touch with them
misappropriation of
yesterday.
property.
Right.
I've got no issue with
Which is
these,
theft.
but they seem to
Right.
have got an issue with me.
Point is, obviously,
I'm
they
not
comply to
stealing
the
anything, Doug. As you
supplier,
can
then
see-
obviously get reimbursed back for what they paid for it, or
Like I said, I've never
supplier
met
of the
you.
National
Yeah,
Grid.
I don't know anything about this.
No, you don't.
right.
It's them that need
Yeah.
to speak to you.
The supplier's still
They've been
registered with
brought
SSE,
in.
so
At the end of the
This
day,
lady,
so somebody's
the
breached
supplier,
GDPR.
They're
finalised.
saying they've
You've
removed
come taking your property
something
back.
to keep
End of
safe
story.
and that it's been put back
well,
on.
the meat obviously still needs to be off.
You need to come, you still
Hold
need
on
to
a
go and
minute,
steal
he's just
somebody else's property.
contradicted himself because he's just.
Well, it's
said
been
they
reconnected, hasn't it, by meter? Somebody needs to be put back in place by somebody to engineer. But we need to make obviously.
That's the problem.
But these shouldn't have all
She's
well,
saying
I've
which
not
international
even got a
bit to pay
contract
them,
with him and everything's
and
based
they've
on
ignored her.
contract law.
So,
Have you
you
gone
know.
and phoned some more police to come and back up?
Obviously, that meets us. That supply needs to be turned off.
I'm straight
on the
up.
word.
Speaking
Yeah.
of that,
That's your property.
yeah.
You're
No,
not
it's-
the supplier.
No one's
Yeah.
taken off or anything
So
like that.
how
I'm
would
not-
you
I'm not
have
You just
making
straight
it
up
up.
with
into
this
the
chick
property?
because
Because it's still registered on there. It's still.
Deed registered.
Well, they won't need register it until if the lady.
I've applied for my energy from somewhere else because our contract ended.
Yeah.
But yet
They've got
these want to
proof that they've got
continue it.
them.
These have got naught to do with it. My contract ended in March with SSE, so why are these here? It's continual harassment, but past 8 weeks they've been 4 times. It's
What's going to happen then if you remove this? What will happen then?
Misrepresentation in a court.
The supply will be off at the property.
with an uttered
We'll just
document.
remove the meter. That's it.
Remove the meter.
Remove the meter, turn it off.
But that meter belongs to
They're all right, it's
Amanda,
my property.
and
I paid
she's saying
for
you
it to be
can't
put
take
in.
it. So if you take it, then that's against her wishes. That's theft.
That's theft.
It's down as evidence for obviously why.
Pardon?
It's evidence is down. Obviously,
And I've
they've
already
theft
told
in
them I'm
place.
gonna report
No,
a
it's theft.
crime.
Well, no, the
It's
officers have to
obviously
arrest
not
them.
paid
It
in
doesn't belong to them.
If they steal my property,
What
I
evidence
want to
is it?
immediately put
When you
them
take it
under
away,
arrest
what
because that
evidence
doesn't
is
belong
it?
to
Well,
us.
it's been
Theft.
reconnected. Someone's reconnected on as we left it last time. We disconnected last time, so someone was reconnected
But the
again.
point
Yeah,
is,
but
we
when
do
you
not
take
have
that
a
away
contract.
and give it to SSE in their office, what evidence does that?
Does
Yeah, just prove it.
think they're
Prove
above
it
the
up.
law?
It don't prove anything because it's sat in someone else's office.
Oh, it's here.
Right.
I mean, it's down to misrepresentation in a court.
Yeah, with an uttered document, a document
Just
for
if you
voting.
Sorry.
It's a document that's purported to look like an official document.
Don't even have the courtesy to acknowledge. You know, she just.
Has she
wants
seen
to
it? What?
have
Has she seen it?
Agreement.
Ruddingston.
And there was something on that the government did not so long ago. They're supposed to actually fetch a physical copy of a warrant now. Never mind digital. It's when was it? Was it December?
I think so, yeah. It was a
It was an
court
High
Yeah,
Court
yeah.
judge in London.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
what
was
did
case law.
It's case law. There were an High Court thing in London, King's Bench, that if they come,
All warrants have to be
all
signed
warrants
and-
now have to be signed in wet
By a
ink,
judge in Wedding.
put a seal, and they have to give you a physical copy. You know, like it used to be.
That was in
But
November
they
22.
think because they show me so anybody can create digital and amend it. I mean, I know it's not your fault. You're
I know we've all come together, but I literally don't know anything.
I know
about
you
this.
don't,
I
But
don't know
now
anything about
you
your
are aware
previous
that they're
or-
about to create a theft.
they're going
So you have to, in
steal
your
my
capacity as
property.
constable, you have to act on that.
If they have a warrant, if they have a warrant from magistrate,
But a warrant-
two sides
It,
What-
magistrate.
it's
it's
not a
just
warrant.
a warrant of entry, allegedly.
Then you have to look at that warrant and see if it's authentic warrant, and it's not got a wet signature
It's
in
an
it.
uttered document.
So, you know, with all due respect, you've got to do your job. You know, it's as simple as that.
If you have a look
because
at the word uttering, it means a document that is purported to look like a genuine document.
Okay.
And because that's not got a real court seal on it, and it's not got the way, it's got to be signed and sealed and autographed by a judge, not a missus. That's like me signing it and then me coming to your house saying, oh yeah, I can come in, look, because I've got this on my phone.
what happens, they're getting away with it for so long.
Have they been before?
They've been 4 times in past 8 weeks, knowing I suffer with anxiety, I have panic attacks, they know I've got cancer, they know I've got Raynaud's.
Have they been inside house?
No, I won't allow them in my house.
No.
They don't need to come in my house. This video on YouTube that links that. And they were saying, what are you going to do for this lady? Oh, we're just going to cut her off. And so basically they're leaving me isolated, knowing that I'm a dependent on a mobility scooter to get around. You know, and what they're doing is wrong. They're breaking law. This has been in dispute since 2017. It's been a court, and when anything's in dispute, no magistrate will issue a warrant when it's in dispute. You can check that up, Doc. I've been learning law since 2014.
You live on your own?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to leave me in harm's way, and they're distressing me. They're literally distressing me, and that's a breach of Protection from Harassment Act. They're causing me harm and distress, and now they want to cause me loss by forcing me to stay in my home and be isolated so I can't get out. And then they're saying, "Oh, we'll put your prepayment meter." They're not a company. They're not an energy company, so how can they put anything on for me? I don't want a prepayment meter because if it's cold, because of my Reynolds, I cannot get out.
So you'll top it up with your card?
I don't have a bank card, though.
No, one of them electric cards. Is that
No, but that means I've still got to go out.
Is that what one of them prepayment ones is?
Yeah, that you've still got to go out, and then if it's cold or raining, I can't get out. And you know how much rain we get here and how cold it is all the time. So they know this. So because I've been folding, they're supposed to do a risk assessment on that. And police are supposed to do a risk assessment to see what harm and loss it could cause me. Well, it's going to cause me a great deal of harm and loss. You know, which is, they're wrong. Hey up, sweetheart. Are you all right?
Right. You got someone else?
This is my nephew. He's come up to see. He goes and does
You know
me
when
bits
they
of shopping
change
and comes and makes me
the
drinks
warrant?
and that and looks after me. He knows how I rely on. He's a good lad, he is. Let me get keys, sweetheart.
When
Thank you.
have your
I didn't know you were coming up today.
But they went back to
Can you
court.
just tell me that?
Last year.
Minute, get in. You're not running out and jumping all over everybody. She don't want hairs on her uniform. Okay, cool.
What you got? That
I
was
don't know, but yeah, when somebody went took it to the High Court and the rules that all
What they're doing, Duck, is wrong. They're breaking law and they're being allowed to get away with it.
This is before a jury and there's 12
Get in,
people
Minna.
looking at
Come on,
it.
sweetheart, get in.
Because the jury can override it. So,
all right.
I mean, it's all wrong, this. They're causing me harm and loss. They're going to commit an act of theft or robbery.
He's on
Robbery.
phone now.
It's all right, dog.
No, it's all right, just spoken to him, them two guys.
Yeah.
He's on phone now. He's going to ring up above and see if he can not take your meter.
Well, they can't take my stuff anyway, because like I said, I
Yeah.
will instantly report a crime to you two.
No, yeah.
And I will expect you to
But
arrest them
he's
for
just
theft.
making phone calls on his side if you're wondering where they are.
Yeah. All right.
Just as an observation, why don't they just do a safety check? If they do a safety check, that would probably solve a lot of problems right now.
And I'm panicking at the minute because I can't cope with this stress. They're literally continually harassing me. They've been
versus
4
the
times.
safety.
This will be 5 times today in 8 weeks.
Oh, is it been over 8 weeks?
Yeah. Well, that's just past 8 weeks, Jake.
Have you had police here before?
Yeah.
Have they come before?
And one at police, I don't know which one it were, he broke my door. And then they were come.
I'll come back around to home and have that personal phone call.
Yeah. I'll walk past. Just saying, it might have been good just to do a safety check for now. But
Don't worry, before we're just following what we get told to do. So it's the instructions.
so if the concern is about safety, why don't they just do a safety check? Why do they have to take a meter away? Well, allegedly they say it's about evidence. Right, so we've got a second police car arrived now. All right there.
Oh, mate, you alright?
Yeah, good.
Is it yourself that's the spokesperson of the
No,
press?
I'm just doc. You can speak for me. My secretary.
He's been alright, to be fair.
Sure, no doubt.
He's helping the public over there.
You're one of the first police officers to recognise that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's alright.
So have we identified on the address?
And I
When
don't
did
need
that
that.
happen?
That was February.
Okay.
Feb-
All right.
23?
Not this year,
Last year, February
last
last
year.
year, and that's how my door's been since.
because
Because
this fence weren't here. But
this went here, so I had to have this put up, and I'm still paying for this fence now.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, your colleagues arrived now. Did you not know they were coming?
No?
Yeah, they've arrived.
What's that? The armed force.
It might be your sergeant, I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought it'd been massage.
You're doing a fine job up to now.
What did the person want with the car? Wanted her to move it?
They were knocking on the window, but when she knocked on the window to ask what was wrong, she said there was nothing wrong. But
Oh.
she was knocking on the window.
Oh,
Say to me.
I was asleep.
You watch it a bit.
It's too long. So what's happening now? They're just looking at the warrant, make sure it's authentic.
Is this the occupant?
Sorry?
Is there anybody that we need to speak to is still inside? Not allowing any re-entry.
I do believe she's going to let someone in. She has said that to the police officers, yeah.
Do you understand that we're here essentially on behalf of these gentlemen who are acting on behalf of the court? We're here essentially just to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, your officers have said you're just here to prevent a breach of the peace. Nothing else. The lady's concerned that they're going to steal her meter because she's claiming that she's paid for that meter herself. So she's worried about the theft. Yeah, she's worried about the theft of her meter today. I did get that right, didn't I?
Yeah, she's worried about theft or anything.
Perhaps you need to speak to her yourself just to better understand.
I'm sure one of my colleagues is already speaking to her.
Yeah, that's wrong there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got every confidence that she knows what she's doing.
My observations, they're doing a great job today. Having some kind of private conversation there, I'll leave them to it. So currently you've got people on the phone at this end, you've got a private conversation going on at this end. 2 police cars have arrived. 1 initially with 2 police officers. They're here to prevent a breach of the peace. What happens now with this conversation will determine what happens next. In the meantime, let's see what happens. Right, so there's another conversation taking place now after a radio check. Making references towards the warrant, I do believe.
Right.
If that's all right.
Yeah.
We'll tell us.
Yeah, if you want to explain, obviously you spoke to your guy.
Yeah.
That's the. It's one of them. It's open and so it's gonna. You know what? It'll be alright.
Oh, we look like
Oh, right. Another good looking one, then.
Yeah.
This is Amanda.
It's just Amanda Jane.
Amanda Jane.
Colon Amanda hyphen Jane full stop.
Alright, well. So, do you understand
I don't stand
in
on
basic
that.
terms why the police are here?
Yeah,
So,
to get it. You
Essentially, we're
basically
here to prevent
a breach of the
breach
peace.
of the peace.
And we're not creating a breach of the peace. You can ask your young police constable.
I've been talking for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I've not heard any roping. I've been round here.
That's what I'm saying.
So, they're here, essentially, in exercising the magistrate's court warrant.
It's not a warrant, Doc. It's a document.
It's a what, sorry?
It's a document of uttering. It's a document purported to look like a genuine document.
Right, okay. So,
It doesn't have a seal on it. It doesn't have a judge's name on it. It has the name of a missus.
with regards to the magistrate's court warrant, I can't comment on it.
And King's Bench made the decision in December last year that all warrants need to be in paper form.
Right.
And they need to be served.
Signed by
Pursuant to CPR 6.26, it needs to be deemed served. It's not my name on there.
We're just sorting it out.
So you're not Amanda?
No, I am not Miss Amanda. I am colon Amanda hyphen Jane full stop.
Did you used to be Amanda?
No, I've never been Amanda. Miss Amanda.
How long have you been for, if you don't mind my
Since 2014.
Yeah.
Hold on 2 minutes. I'll get my ID card and show you.
So am I correct in my understanding that in conversation that you had, that she'd be willing to let someone enter the property? Right.
There's my ID card
So-
from Common Law Court.
Let this gentleman just explain.
They've already been.
Subsequent to his conversation with his superior, what
Yeah.
what the position is.
So as we've been on phone again today, as we spoke earlier on.
Yeah.
Obviously, said we let us gain access, remove the fuse, remove the tails, and keep it on meter in situ.
Yeah,
So,
but that it's still theft what you're doing because some items don't actually belong.
well,
to
you mean to
I'm only stating fact,
you
don't
obviously
you know
got your
that?
opinion. Obviously,
It's not an
we're doing our
opinion,
job,
it's
a
fact.
fact. So,
It's not an opinion. My opinion
Yeah.
says, you know, like you've got your hair shaved.
Yeah.
I think it looks daft. That's an opinion. No, I don't mean it like that. I'm just hypothetically. I'm just being hypothetical. But I've paid for them in there, so the minute you take them, that's.
Okay, can we ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you come here and remove the property before? All your property?
On March 29th, when you come and took the meters, the tails on the fuel.
Okay, so did you
And
take your
it-
property? Did you
Wait,
take
the
your
meter was
property?
the meter already
My
disconnected
contract
by
ended with the
somebody else.
company.
Okay,
right,
let me
we were
rephrase
coming
it.
on
Did you
behalf
come
of
and
it, ended
take
on
all your
29th
property
March,
back?
I've had my final
The
bill.
meter's only packed up.
Since
Okay, yeah, so you took
been
all your
writing
property
to the
back.
National Grid
So then
to get
the
my
contract
energy
finished.
supply.
With your company, the
Go
contract
on,
then
I'll let you
finished.
listen to him first.
So you have no right to go to a court and pretend that you have a contract with this lady. When you've taken all your property back, she's got a final bill that's all settled. You have no right. The only right that has is the National Grid.
And
Am I
that's why I
correct?
contacted
So I
National
don't know
Grid.
why you're here with a warrant that you obtained fraudulently. Whether
Yeah.
this warrant is right or not, but you actually obtained it fraudulently, pretending to have a contract with this lady when you didn't.
The supply is still registered.
No. The supply is National Grid.
Yes.
You're contracted with National Grid to be a supplier.
That's
Yeah?
correct. Well, we're saying
Okay.
that there's
So
a
you've
supply.
taken back your property belonging to your governors, wherever they are, yeah? And she has given a final bill which she's
There's a
settled.
risk assessment.
So
being
then
done by
you have
everybody, 'cause I've
pretended
got this
that you're still
limit.
at contract
I
and gone and got a
don't know. All we're
fraudulent
here
warrant
to do.
to
Yeah,
come
Judge,
back
just
in
give
here and
us a
steal her equipment.
Police is not being breached.
That's what it looked-
whatsoever.
I'm just-
My police is being breached.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it as I see.
And harassing me
yeah,
over
how
the
they say
past
it,
8
as
weeks.
it's
This is
registered-
the 5th time now.
Registered on the system. It's still
Knowing
down.
that's
Do you think CSE is
there's no
above
risk
the law?
assessment being
Oh,
wrote
you
down
can
on
still be
any
registered,
paperwork
but if
in
the lady
tonight.
is trying to move to like the grid, and
That's
the
not
grid
the
will
ability
take
to go
over that
back.
supply.
Well,
They will contact
Isolate
SSE.
But she's already
Moving
done
what
that.
I've paid
Because that's not
an electrician
happened
to
or
put
been in
in for
place
that.
before.
I'll show you my
it's
letters
still
what I've sent to
technically
the
registered
National
to
Grid
SSE.
because I have sent
taken
out
back
I'm
your
not
property.
stealing anything
It's
otherwise I
still
wouldn't have written
registered,
the
the line
letters
is still in.
But
There ain't no line.
acting in
There ain't no line. You
They're
broke the
breaching
line.
fraud
By
2006
removing, by
Act.
taking
This
back your
belongs
property,
back.
it belongs to National Grid.
Well, also we
So
work on it.
You have fraudulently gone into a court to obtain a warrant when you have no contract with this lady.
But it's still.
Whether the warrant is fraudulent or not, you obtained it by fraudulent
Well, it's not
means.
me personally, but-
Yeah, not you personally. I'm not. You know, I love your haircut.
But I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still.
So you know, and if you go in here, you're going to. It's reported to these two ladies here that
We're not
if you go
taking
in there,
the
you'll be
details.
stealing this lady's property
Yeah.
knowingly.
That's like
And
the one what I wrote.
it's obtaining goods
Once
by
you've read that,
deception,
I'll show you that
which is
too.
theft.
Obviously, we're obviously coming to do that. That's what we get instructions to do. So.
You get instruction to
Yeah.
do it, but they're instructing you to cause theft.
Yeah.
And
Obviously,
fraud.
good to make it. Yeah.
That doesn't exist. The company
And a company needs a contract.
has not registered since 2018, according to this lady. That right,
It might
Amanda?
go over to because Obo did buy the customer side of the business over. So.
They can't
Oh.
buy me. I can't
So
be
it's
given to
Obo
anybody. I'm
now,
not a
not
child or a slave.
But you said you were here for CSE, yeah?
It's still the same one, yeah.
But they haven't got a company. Company is
It
dissolved.
ceased trading on 14th May 2018.
Yeah, so you're
SSE.
coming here with a company that ceased trading since 2018.
Then
How does that work?
That's the second one, sorry.
Well,
I've
just
got companies. I've got company. I can't trade under a company that's dissolved.
Exactly, and it's dissolved. It says it ceased trading
Yeah.
on company's house.
Yeah. So you're either here
And
under
that's the second.
Orville,
Like I said to you, Jay,
or you're
I'm not into
here
that.
under a
I'm not
fraudulent
into
company.
stealing them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have wrote these letters to get my energy from another company. As a non, because I'm not commercial, I'm
SSE,
non-commercial.
who doesn't trade anymore.
And this was the last one, what I posted yesterday, because I've not heard anything.
You know, it's crazy. It's all fraud.
It's fraud.
You know, SSE doesn't trade anymore. They went to obtain a warrant for a supply that they don't have anymore, the contract that they broke. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Just move that out of the way, mate, because I'm obviously reading something, Scott.
Yeah, sure, I've got a copy of that.
information.
Yeah, I've got a copy of that. Yeah, you're right.
It's all right. It's
That's
Yeah.
to
I'll blur that
I have
out.
the
Yeah.
authority to act on my behalf. You know, because I have anxiety and panic, so sometimes I just have to go in house out of way.
Anxiety now, this is unfolding. It just seems
It's ridiculous.
crazy. The company that's dissolved gets a fraudulent warrant for a
Yeah.
contract that they don't have.
So which company do you pay your bills to now?
I don't pay my bills to anybody at the minute. I'm waiting for these to reply. I ain't had a company
You've
since
sent them readings.
they
to
cut me
the
off on
National Grid.
29th. Yeah. They cut me off on 29th of March, that sets 30th, to get with another company. Then I didn't get a response, so that sets 19th of June. I still haven't had a response, so that's the 8th day of August. That's the receipt for that. And I've got proof of postage and proof of delivery. So my next thing is get back in touch with them and send it by special delivery, because special delivery is in the private. So it's not like I'm trying to rip anybody off.
No.
Do you see what I mean? I need...
So this SSE, as it stands, is that still the supplier?
No, because they ceased trading on 14th of May 2018. I haven't got a supplier at minute.
So how are you getting electricity then?
Because it's on.
Right.
And that's why
Well,
it's...
that begs the question, should it be on if you don't...
Well, of course it should.
Well, if you're trying to pay National Grid, obviously.
I'm trying to pay somebody. Do you see what I'm saying? I've got in touch with somebody, but I'm waiting for a response.
Keeping a
It's
record
cut-
through
cutting
a
out the middleman.
So
Yeah.
therefore, not stealing it.
Because
Keeping
I've got a record. There's a
So at some
record.
point you can pay.
Exactly. Well, like I said, this is ridiculous. Every couple of weeks you're coming and hounding me and harassing me. You haven't got no risk assessment wrote down on paper. That's health and safety.
But they need to get their house in order, and if it's Orville that's acting, then it should be Orville, not under the guise of a dissolved
SSE,
company.
because if it's supposed to be OVO that has this now, why didn't you go to court on the OVO's behalf
And if
instead of SSE?
CSE has passed over this lady's documents,
this is what I'm
it's
saying.
data protection.
And whoever's done you by information has breached the GDPR.
Or we just get sent it, don't we?
2018.
We don't-
That's
But
what I'm
it's
saying. So
data
somebody's
protection,
breached.
you know.
I've already served them all notices, these companies.
Right.
On 25th of May, they received them before 25th of May 2018 when GDPR came in and removed any and all consent, included but not limited to sister companies and any other companies that they're involved with. So by what they've done, they've committed a crime against me, because it clearly states if you pass my details or personal information onto anyone without my consent, there's a £50,000 fee. And they've agreed to it. I got their tacit agreement by acquiescence because I never got a response.
Right.
But what you're doing is wrong. SSE doesn't exist. So if SSE doesn't exist and you've got a warrant for SSE, then that's fraud.
So who's paying your wages? Is it SSE that doesn't exist, or is it Orville?
No, we're contract with Seeker, we're just
This is what I'm saying,
contracting, we're
third
just
party
contracting.
interlopers.
with them.
Contract, but you must have a contract, an invoice to act from a
Yeah, the
company.
office will do, yeah, we don't get it individually.
You don't get it.
No, we don't get it.
So who do you work for?
Seeker.
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 All right. So.
Seeker used to be a part of SSE. And when SSE ceased trading,
But it's
Orville
SSE
took it
that's
over.
gone to the court and it's tried
I
to
see,
obtain
got
a
to go off,
warrant.
because they obviously still.
SSE
still-
doesn't exist.
Still on the line to the property that's got to go back. It's somebody's put a extraction of a meter on. It's not theirs, hasn't been done by a qualified
That's one
by
thing.
a qualified engineer, and that's what they've done. That's what we're going to court for.
We're at the front gate here,
Yeah.
where SSE has gone to court to obtain a warrant from a company that doesn't exist. You need to go back to the fucking court. Simple
But
as.
basically, they've got an registered city still, so they're their supplier.
No, they don't exist. So then Orville will have to be the supplier. You know, or whoever.
Because
You
he's
know,
still in
but
that
it's
name,
not
obviously, that's where it
SSE from a
disconnected,
company that
hasn't
doesn't
it?
exist.
Cease trading is cease business.
SSE ceased trading as of May 2014.
Wouldn't there be a liquidator acting on behalf of them?
AR ceased. It says it there.
Yeah, I
But
get-
the
I
energy
get that.
services.
When a company ceases trading for whatever reason,
Yeah.
liquidators are appointed.
Okay, so if there's a liquidator, it's the liquidator on behalf of, if that company's dissolved, so it hasn't,
Do
you
you
know,
want to
ceased
take a
trading.
photo of that and take it back to him? SSE ceased trading.
Sorry.
If it's also in order, can he take a photograph of the letters that you've said you've sent?
Yeah, do you want me to? I can do you a scanned copy if you want. I've already
What's the
got
matter
these
for these
one.
guys is to, because
I've given them one.
they're going to have to go back to their
Yeah.
employers and explain the
Because I've
situation.
literally given them the letters. As you can see, it says SSE PLC ceased. Date 14th of May 2018.
It seems like it's a game of numbers.
Yeah.
If SSE goes to get a number of these warrants and 50 of them and 49 people don't complain,
Understand.
they get their way. And it's, you know, but this lady is obviously educated, done her homework.
I've been
And there's-
learning law
there's-
since 2014. I've been learning law since 2014, so I know.
You know more than me about civil law, I'll be brutally honest with you.
At CPR, I've got all books in there. I was supposed to do law, but then my son came with a scan picture. You know, I was going to be a nan again, and they needed me. You know, my little granddaughter's inside. She got petrified last time they came. That's child abuse. Indirect child abuse.
Yeah,
Did you join? He's
He's
got the letters. Again, you copy of letters. I've also served him an harassment notice, and his friend who refused to give me his name. I've served them both a notice of
You've got to identify your
harassment
mate
to
yourself,
cease
mate,
and
if you're here.
desist.
Pardon?
He refused
You've
to
got
identify
yourself,
himself.
didn't you? Huh?
You do.
If you're here as a bailiff, you have to identify yourself.
So what you doing here then?
my colleague.
Yeah, but you have to identify yourself. If you're here on behalf of a warrant, you have to
What have you
identify
got to
yourself.
hide if you're not identifying yourself? What have you got to hide? Is it because you know you're committing fraud against me? Under 2006
With all due
fraud
respect,
act.
you could be anybody.
You can
could be
laugh all you
villain,
want, though.
You know.
I don't think it's a laughing matter. You're putting a vulnerable woman in a more vulnerable position. I don't think that's funny.
Mark, will you just get a
You
copy
weren't
of that
laughing, it's twice
ID?
you've laughed at me. It's wrong what they're doing. I'm not causing no,
Just gonna
I'm
quick
not
copy of
causing
your
no,
ID.
no loss to anybody, but these are
Cheers.
trying
It's already
to
had
cause me harm
photos.
and loss.
Yeah, fair enough, thanks.
And it's harassment.
If this lady goes into court
And I've been,
and,
and they
and
refuse to
she
take
has
all...
the wrong documents and she's going in representing someone that died 3 years ago or in 2018, how can she go into a court like that, like CSE are doing? They can't go into a court if they no longer exist. It's common sense. Then, under the Magistrates Court Act to 1981, if you're bringing a claim against a person, it must be brought in writing or verbally, individually against that person. Then if a magistrate is happy with that complaint, he then issues a warrant or liability order. Only the magistrate, not some clerk in a bulking centre in Northampton or...
You can only have a liability order if you're in contract. If you're not in contract.
But you know, yeah, like the laws are there to be acted upon, not abused. Like your time now abused by bringing you here for...
His boss says, oh, SSE.
Yeah, well, all don't exist, yeah.
Them that don't exist, Mr. Invisible. So
Yeah. Well, I ain't got...
take the tails, the fuels, but not the meter. You can't touch the meter.
And then you can take a private prosecution against them.
Well, I've
after that
already...
for
because I've
Basically,
served-
it's saying what we did last time.
Yeah,
Leave your
but
meeting.
I've served you notice, haven't I?
Helen.
I've given you a notice this morning and I told you you've now been served. It's on camera, so it don't matter if you
But
deny
give us
it
a
or not.
notice,
It's on
yeah.
camera. I've served you with a notice of harassment and to cease and desist.
I'm not being harassing you,
But okay,
But you are harassing me when you're turning up every 2 weeks. That's more than 2 occasions. That's a breach of protection from harassment. I'm a
Not when he's here under.
I can't contact you otherwise.
He's not here lawfully.
I can't
For all intents and purposes,
I can't-
he is because he's got possession of a warrant.
A
that he
fraudulent
well,
warrant,
that's a
an
matter
lots
of
of documents.
that's a matter of legal argument to be had at a later
No, no,
time.
no, but
legal
you're
argument
police.
because it's obtained by a company that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to argue civil law, am I? 'Cause
He
that's
who
not-
makes the claim, it's the obligation to prove that claim. They've not proved anything. Not
Right,
proved
we're
anything.
going around in circles.
So-
I'm showing you paperwork and proving my claim.
You showed me some letters, yeah.
No,
yeah.
I showed you some paperwork off a company's house
All right.
that says, oh, they've allegedly got a warrant for us.
Okay.
It's wrong.
What you've shown me is some information that's been cut and pasted from company's house.
No, it's not been. It's been printed off
Right,
company's
okay.
house, not copied and pasted, because that's what they're doing with that alleged.
Are you sure?
In
Bill,
fairness,
digital
company's
version.
house won't put it on there if it's not true. You know, you can't.
No, I'm not saying that, but
Fuels.
what I'm saying is he's in possession of a signed warrant now. We can argue all day
Yes,
long about
yeah.
the
Don't take the
validity
tails
of
and
that
fuels.
warrant. It is a signed.
But I'm telling you now, don't ever come back to my house again. You can take your tails, you can take your fuels. Well, mine, but it's still theft. That's my property, and I'll be sending a bill to your
Okay.
property.
Yeah, it's not me. I'm just going
It
to
is you,
middleman.
you're acting on it.
He's been given
I've been
given
given, yeah,
authority by
actions to
the
do.
court.
Just like Hitler's men were given authority, because that's what it's like. It's like we're living in a communist state now.
Let's not compare the two because
Well, it is a good comparison,
It's
isn't
not.
it? I'm doing
It's
my
heading,
job.
it's
not a
heading
good
that way.
excuse. Doing my job is not a good excuse for breaking the law.
No, there's nobody
And
that's above
that's
the law.
what they're doing. They're breaking the law. And the law stood beside him, listening to it all. I've proved my case.
I'm listening to everybody.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So before you come in to take the fuse, is that your fuse?
Somebody else has put.
Is it? No, I'm asking
No,
you a question.
that was-
Is it your fuse
Or is it mine?
and your tails that you're going to remove?
Remove them what's been put in place
No,
since we left.
no, you don't answer. That's
Do
a
they belong
political
to
question.
you?
I'm asking you: is it the property of CS?
Well, somebody
SSE.
else has put over a new,
Okay, so it's not-
somebody's put a new set of tails and then a new fuse
Okay,
in place.
so it's not your property.
Since,
It's not the property of C.
since we have left it.
Okay, so
somebody
you're
else has
taking
put that in.
property does not belong to you. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, just removing it. Yeah, to
You're
make it
removing
safe.
property does
And
not
when
belong
you
to you.
remove
removing
my
it just to
property,
make
I
it
want to
safe.
report a crime.
Removing or are you taking it away?
No, just
He's taking
keeping
it
the
away.
meter there, removing the fuse and removing the tail, so it's not nothing's
So
connected.
you're taking it away.
Yeah, so
with
making
you.
it safe. Yeah,
Take it away or remove
Take
it?
it
So
away
that's
with you?
theft.
Yeah.
That's my
theft.
property. You can't take it.
yeah, because obviously you can reconnect yourself. So we just made a.
I understand that to mean you're taking away the fuse and you're taking
So
away the
it's
tail.
misappropriation
Yeah.
of property, which is theft.
Well, you can pay me for it. You can pay me that £50 it cost me for it.
Have you got
Then you can
£50?
take 'em, it'll belong to you. I'm trying to be fair here. You're trying to
Okay,
steal my
so
property.
but listen, all I wanted to do was clarify that it's not your property that you're taking. Amanda, let him in to take. Let him in to
Yeah, they
take.
can
Do
take
what
it
he's
out.
doing.
So a few,
Because-
you're talking about like
And
a fuse it's worth
I want a
pence.
receipt for the
It's the fuse
tails
that
and the
worth-
fuse.
About £5, I think it's worth, and just copper tails. It just so we leave it safe as it is.
Yeah. Do you understand that side of it?
No, because there's no health and safety in it. Because
I'll
they
not get
needed me
into
on the
I'll
safe.
not get into a conversation unnecessarily about.
Well, the guy has admitted that it's not his property, so.
No.
that's-
All right. Let's just.
But he's coming in
pause
to
for a
take it
second.
anyway.
Right. We'll come back to that. The fuse and tails that have been put in.
Yeah.
Without going into any detail.
Yeah.
Our understanding is that those have been put on by someone who is not
An
registered.
electrician who's
Amanda has
registered.
bought and paid for them. They're her property now.
Okay. But
I paid an
they have
electrician.
been used to reconnect the supply of electricity back to that property in a
Amanda will have to answer that. I can't answer
in
for
a
her.
what's the best way to put it? Unregistered,
Unregistered, by
How to be
number.
registered.
Well, the engineer who puts it back on needs
The
to.
way
Well,
I
I
see
think he
it,
were
the way I
registered,
see
rather.
it is, CSE has,
SSE.
SSE has ended the contract. Amanda then has contracted somebody else to replace it and started a new contract with the
Oh,
National
trying to
Grid
start one,
and
yeah.
sent them all the documents. So SSE has nothing whatsoever to do with
They
this.
don't have the authority.
They don't have the authority. It's her contract now with
It will be with National
National Grid. But I just wanted to clarify, you're coming in to take property that doesn't belong to you.
We're just making it safe as it is.
Yeah,
leave
well,
it to
listen.
meter, yeah. That's all I'm concerned.
I've
So I
sent
can't-
to a close and
we can't leave it live and somebody put their finger on it and then
But
that'd be
listen,
something
that
else.
is, with all due respect to you and your lovely haircut, that's a load of baloney.
Yeah, I'm not saying anyone would do, but
It's been
I
put in
can't
by a
leave that.
professional electrician. Yeah, it is safe. So okay, so can you
Sent
come
by
in and
National
check it
Grid.
to see if it's safe and then walk away with
No,
that?
but if him to do the work, he's got to leave that in
I
a
would keep it
condition.
in safe state
Okay.
until I pull the fuse.
So
No, it's something inside that.
if you come in and say it's not safe, can you explain to us why it's not safe?
But it's been put in some by.
No. That's a
not-
political answer.
who's not-
I'm
who's not
asking you,
registered
if you come in and
to work
look
on
at
that
that fuse and look at the tails, can you then explain to us it's not safe because that's a white top on top of a black post? Or
It shouldn't have been.
No, it's
back
not.
on it. That's what it.
What about health and
By
safety?
it needs to be somebody registered.
sure.
Okay.
With the grade, we've got permission to work on the. That,
No.
That's sealed up.
That's not true. That's
needs to be
just,
registered to seal.
no. That's something made up by SSE.
No, we all had to go through a course to
Listen.
registered.
Electrician has the same course and same qualifications as you.
Well, they still have to get permission to put tags on it.
But it's a case of you using and abusing this.
But
What safety regulation?
Electrician has a seal that gets permission off the, for example, around here, it's Northern Power Grids get a seal,
Okay.
and they get permission from
So
us
if
to
you
work
come in
on it.
and see that tails, you say it's unsafe, so you're going to remove it. Can you explain to us why it's unsafe?
because it hasn't been fitted.
No. I want to know the reason why
Can
it
we have
has
National
why
Grid
it's.
come down here and do a safety check on this? Can you phone them up and get National Grid here?
Or they don't need
That's a
to.
good idea.
Well, I think we need to phone National Grid and get them to do a safety check.
If I build a new house
They will
tomorrow,
come out.
Yeah,
and I want it connected, don't ring SSE, I ring the National Grid and they will connect it.
They will connect a cutout to the property to allow you to have power, and then you choose what supply you have after that point to register with the
So
supplier.
now she's chosen to see you later SSE and the National Grid.
Well, there's no accredited supplier providing
There is
electricity.
the National Grid.
Not at the current moment, though, is there?
They're an accredited supplier.
Are you qualified to do a safety check?
Where do you
Qualified
think
meter
the
fitter, yeah.
electric's coming from?
Could you do a safety check?
The National Grid.
So
What
can
are
you,
coming
yeah,
from
can
the
you
National
tell us,
Grid?
okay, so you come in to take the fuse and can you explain to us why
Remember,
it's
never comes
unsafe?
From Ovo,
Apart from,
Eon, or anything. but
Some,
they don't
obviously, someone who's obviously put it on who's
They
not
only
qualified
create
to.
okay,
work
so
on
you
that.
are
The
qualified.
National Grid.
Yeah, we
And
know
you
get
can
trained
look
to
at
do
it,
that.
you can look at it and say, yes, that guy has done his job right. Or you can look at it and say, no, that's wrong because this
Well, like,
is not.
because he has got power, they probably have connected because it might be electrician. I don't know that, do I? But they need to be qualified to have this
Right,
seal.
I'm giving
so they
you,
can
I'm
work
giving
on
you a
it.
get out clause so you're not stealing property. You can come in, check it, make because you have the power, you have the certificate. You can come in and check it to make sure it's safe. Yeah, and we're all safe standing around it, and then go about your business.
Not physically.
Is that not
Well,
right?
obviously we
But that'll save you from being prosecuted for theft.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm just explaining obviously when engineer works on the
I've got a
grid.
case history about where.
But we're trying to compromise here, you know. So okay, so you're going to come in and look at it first of all.
Yeah, look, obviously
Okay.
take photographs, look at it.
Right,
And obviously,
and then you're going to explain to us why it's not safe.
well, it's because it's been put on by possibly
But if you were going to put it on, would you put it on any different than what is put on there now?
Possibly not, but it needs to be somebody who's registered.
But listen, can you hear yourself?
It needs to be somebody who's registered to work on
So
that
you
network.
are. So you're coming in to look at it, even
Well, I
though you
can't
have
leave
no
you like
authority. You can't leave it because you're not qualified.
I have to.
No, I can't leave you like because the supply something off. We're going on the circle.
I know we
I
are, but it
understand
doesn't
your
make
point you're saying,
sense.
but I go and take me.
So, in other words, it doesn't matter whether it's safe or not. You're stealing that.
Removing the fuse, yes.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Removing the fuse.
It doesn't matter whether it's safe or not. You're doing that because your bosses,
supply
CSE,
stuff, yeah.
SSE, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
It just.
Supply needs stuff, yeah.
I know. Yeah. Take
Well,
my
then-
meter off and hand me my meter.
No, she's not touching
I'm
the
not
meter. She's
touching
only
the
taking
meter.
the fuse and the tail.
Amanda, is the person all right to be on camera or not?
They're all.
In the background.
Everybody's on camera,
I mean,
yeah.
this person, is he all right? Because it'll be on going on the internet.
Are you all right to go on internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
The most polite boy in. Where are we?
I
Sheffield.
thought you've not said two words.
It's lovely.
Right over here at the moment.
I feel like I'm taking brunt of this. What about these two here?
You're doing a good job.
We've been on here.
That's Ken and Barbara, yeah.
Barbara, yeah.
Which one's Barbie?
Me, Barbara, and Kenya.
There are a couple of dolls, aren't you?
Very good.
Are you Action Man?
I wish.
He's got a bit of stubble as well.
Action man's seen a lot more action than
Oh,
Ken.
yes, right, yeah. The minute they take my property, I want to report a crime. And as a
The
constable of the law, you have to
warrant.
take my report.
The warrant.
It's not a warrant.
I'll just show the warrant.
I've seen it. It's not a
Regardless
warrant.
of the warrant, the
Because I read
property
it,
is not
it said
theirs.
something about removing the fuse and did it?
King's Bench Division clearly states that they have to bring a paper copy now, and that was from December.
Right.
And being constable, you should know that.
I know, I've seen it.
You're constables of the law, you're supposed to be protecting me and my property, not corporations. And while ever you're protecting them, you're conspiring with them. You're conspiring in fraud.
I'm not.
You are. You're conspiring and you're aiding and abetting them.
I'm helping them to
Yeah,
prevent the breach of
exactly.
the
Yeah,
Helping is
yeah.
conspiring. Check the word out in the law book, Black's law.
conspiracy.
Yeah,
Aware of what conspiracy.
conspiring. Coercion. Whatever you want to call it.
In fair-
You're being
if you
coerced
feel
by
like I've
them to
coerced
help
you.
them.
In fairness,
Not coerced
Amanda, I've
me.
met a lot worse
Well,
powers.
you're aiding and abetting them. You're trying to coerce me to allow them to come in to commit an act of theft and fraud.
Sorry?
which is exactly what you've done today.
Yeah. You're supposed to be here just to keep the peace. You're supposed to be stood on that corner making sure.
Listen, I've got to stand up for this copper, and I'd never,
No, it's
I'd ever
not.
fucking hear myself saying this.
At any point,
He's,
told you.
he's being
Yeah.
fair.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So I've listened to everybody's point of view. Haven't I?
But, well, you're listening, but you're not acting on fraud. And that's what they've got, a fraudulent document.
Well,
It's an
refer you
act
to the
of
previous
uttering.
point, the magistrate's warrant clearly.
It's not
It's not signed by a magistrate.
If you look up,
Right,
the
eventually.
Digital Act for 2000, where paperwork can be transferred to digital and it can be made legal, it says commerce. It doesn't mention anything
This is
about courts, tribunals, or warrants. It's commerce.
Which is business. I'm not a business.
Again,
I'm a woman.
finer points of civil law.
It's,
Which-
well,
which-
it's law.
But your constable.
That is law. It's written in black and white.
You're supposed
Never
to be here to
mentioned
protect me and my
court.
property.
But
That's what it says
as
in
a
your oath.
constable, are you not obliged to check that warrant to see the validity of it? You're here to keep the
I've
peace.
got no reason to
But we're
believe
telling
it
you
to
the
be.
reasons. The company, number one, went into liquidation or whatever in 2018 that obtained it.
Right.
Yeah?
So that's
The
fraud for.
property is not belonging to that alleged company that's gone into liquidation.
Yeah.
So
The
we're giving you the
contract's
validity,
ended
we're
with
giving
the
you the
alleged
reasons to
company.
check the warrant for validity.
But you're not
That's
acting
part
on
of your job, surely.
No.
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 So you're here
So
to.
Why would we?
Reporting a
Why would
crime.
we? No, we're talking about
Okay, yeah, go
the
on.
validity of the warrant. There's no reason to not believe the validity of the warrant. As far
We're
as
giving
I'm.
you the reasons.
No.
We're
But what I'm
giving-
saying to you is, there's no
This is our bench.
reason for me to check it.
But listen, I was standing up for you a few minutes ago. We're giving you the reasons for the checking the validity
We
of the
have
warrant.
reasonable
The
cause
company
to
doesn't
believe
exist
it.
anymore that obtained it.
Right.
The property that they're trying to
Again,
retrieve.
Not something I'm going to get involved in.
But
Because it's
you are involved because you're here.
We're reporting a
to
crime.
prevent a breach of the peace. If I at any point say,
You're not preventing a
I'm
breach of
putting
the
your door in.
peace.
No.
You're
because-
conspiring
That's
with them.
what last constable did. He broke my door and left me in more of a vulnerable state.
Is fraud a criminal
I thought
offence?
it were you.
Can I just ask you, is fraud a criminal offence?
There's no fraud.
There is fraud.
In what respect?
That warrant's fraudulent.
Is it?
It should
Take
be
it
a
up with the
physical
court then.
copy.
Take it up with the court.
Okay, so will you
I
ask
don't
these
need
guys
to
to
know.
leave until she sets that warrant aside, so it's checked with the court?
It's all on CCTV.
So if
you
we
know
do
what,
what you're
like,
saying,
if it's
Right.
good for the goose, it's
What
good
he's
for the
doing-
gander.
What
You
he's
know
doing,
what
as
I
I
mean?
understand it, is he's speaking to.
No, it went in.
Well, as far as I'm aware, I don't know enough about how to safely remove. All I know is it says something about removing the fuse.
Mhm.
And he put it as part.
But he's admitted that the fuse is not his. So it's misappropriation of property, which is theft. That's a crime.
Okay, I don't know why he would have.
Well,
other than to leave it in a safe.
But listen, but we're telling you he's about to commit theft.
he
You're
could
saying
take
you're only
that
here to
fuse out.
keep the peace. That is a crime.
Yeah.
You know, okay, Amanda has agreed for him to come in, but you know, in fairness, to avoid him getting prosecuted for theft, I've asked him to come in and check that he's qualified to check that it is safe. Yeah,
He's not qualified.
From their point of view,
he's
Electricity.
registered. He says he's qualified.
electricity has been disconnected to his property in the recent past.
But with all due respect,
And they've been
that's not your concern. You're here to keep the peace. You know.
All right, so we're back on that one now. Right.
Well, absolutely.
So there's no point me talking about these finer points. Then, is
Well,
it?
I'm telling you the finer points, and you're ignoring.
I'm not ignoring them.
Yes,
I'm saying there's
I'm asking
a
you,
certain
can you-
threshold that we're able to get involved in.
There
in
is
these
a
circumstances.
question about the warrant. Yeah, it's questionable because
It's
the
not got
company
my name on it.
has. Well, no, it hasn't got a name on it. Blah blah blah. There's a
Amanda.
whole list of.
I say this with the utmost respect. You've lived at this address for 8 years? 8-9 years? Okay. Amanda Phillips has been registered at this address, as I understand it, since that time.
Not me. That's not me.
Okay.
I
not
told
open
them
yet,
how to
Rob.
spell my name correctly
Oh, bang on.
last time, and they refused to do it. Minnie, get in. Don't let my dog out.
All right.
Don't let the dog
Don't let my dog out. If she gets away, that's another thing I'll be suing you for. She's not. Come on, baby. Come on, give me now. This is it now, causing harm and loss to a vulnerable.
Is your power switched off? I can see with you, please. Thank you.
Well, I'll wait while you just need to ready to connect it like that.
It's okay to come in?
Rob, I'll fire 1 minute, Rob.
Thanks. See what I mean? Yeah. Something that's critical could be easy.
Rob, I think he wants to win you.
5 minute, 1 minute, just try to
Yeah, well, I'll just come and have a chat to you.
We'll just come round me and hang fire for a minute.
Yeah.
Vinay, get in. Get in, come on.
Has he abandoned his property? He's abandoned.
I don't know. Well, I could claim that now because it's 9 times at Laurie's possession and it's in my possession. I need some new screwdrivers and all. Now, I'm going to stand here and watch them steal my property and then watch these constables let them. And I don't agree to none of this, but I'm not being given a choice. You are? They're taking everything. They're taking the independence away from him knowing I won't be able to charge my scooter up.
The same as you.
Yeah.
Tall.
Yeah, tall, ginger.
I'm not as good looking.
It's all right because all my medicines and everything they're going to ruin. I hope they know they're going to pay for them and all. What's your name, Doc?
That's my ID.
Hold on, oh, yeah. Let me just get my pen and Mark. I'll just need to write.
Mark, you can get it for her, can you?
Yeah. Just explain what's happening.
Yeah, so we're leaving the meter tails, meter, and we're drawing the fuse from the cutout, so everything can be left on site.
Right.
We're just sealing the cutout up and making it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
ID number. Can you read that out?
Yeah.
It's all right.
208.
20819. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to turn your power off. Thank you. All right. No worries. Take your time.
Do you work for Seacom?
Yes, we do. Yes.
I thought that may have come off last time, so just be careful.
Cheers.
Can I just come past you, please? Thank you. Brilliant.
So we're doing, Rob. Remove it. Yeah.
Here, Robert, that's for you, Doc. Right, you've now been served. You see that? He's been served with an harassment notice.
Would I be able to test a socket, please?
Yeah, gives that check.
Thank you. Lovely job, thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Good, okay. Let's switch you off. You can see.
Here you go, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you.
Almost right.
I'm glad you're getting this on film that they're stealing my property. So glad. I don't know.
What have they informed you that they're going to do now?
They're going to steal my tails and my fuse what I've paid for.
We're not removing them.
You're not taking them now? Oh, that's good. Oh, they're not taking them now. That's first on you.
Can I just ask you then, why are you not taking them now?
We're just trying to resolve this resolvably and then peacefully, and we're just removing the fuse out and putting the cutout in.
It's my understanding that you rely on electricity to charge your mobility scooter.
Yeah, and for my medicine in fridge. So it's harm and loss I'm being caused now. I'm going to be isolated in my property. which is wrong. It's caused me not but distress, this. And it's intentional. Minnie, move. Come on. Minnie, move out of the way.
Alright, to move her so she don't get her. Alright.
Yeah, just, she might squelch up. Minnie, if Robert can just move his feet, I can call her in here. Minnie, come here. In. Good girl. Come in here with me. Come on, in here. In here. Go on, in here. Oh, can I have a sit now? And this won't be happening again. You won't be coming back again because I'm not going to let you in next time. You've got everything, you've took your stuff, and by that time I should be on National Grid. This is causing me harm and loss. I hope you're happy with yourself. Lots of you, I hope you're so happy with yourselves. To a vulnerable woman, this is what you do to vulnerables. No risk assessment, nothing. Ridiculous. Not even a real warrant, a fake warrant you're acting on for a fake company. Wrong. Totally, totally wrong. I just hope it doesn't happen to any of your family one day. Which it probably will. I just hope it's you not doing it to them.
So I can see you're actually metering the electricity that's being used.
Yeah, I am metering
What are
it.
you doing with those meter readings?
Well, I'm putting them down so when I get my contract from National Grid, I can send up meetings and then, you know, like remedy it with them. So, and yet they're still doing this. Also terrifying my little granddaughter, which won't be the first time, which is basically child abuse. So abuse of a vulnerable and abuse of a child, that's good, isn't it?
So was it safe and secure, in your opinion?
Well, it's
working. Doesn't mean I agree with it being fitted as it is, but it is working.
So how would you fit it differently?
Well, I said it is working, but it's not being fitted by somebody who's got
So fit it exactly the same, but because he hasn't got a nice shaven head and plastic face.
Because they have to be registered to work on that. We have to all be registered. That's good for next time.
Absolutely, yeah.
To register something means you're giving it away to the Crown. Regis is belonging to the King. Terry's gifting it to. Same with your cars, your kids, you give them to the Crown.
In itself. That would be up to the man and the judge.
Why don't you just perform a safety check rather than leaving her without electricity?
Well, nobody's saying it's not electrician.
See, that's the bit, and as you said,
Are you qualified to perform safety checks?
Yes, he's admitted that, Mark.
Can I ask you what's the rush to actually terminate the supply? If you're capable of performing a safety check?
No. Can't hear you.
what about that? There's fucking running behind you. It's great, isn't it, when constables stand by watching somebody break law?
Bit shaky there, just one wire.
I'll leave it on, Rob. Leave that here, Rob. No, leave that there. Leave towels here. And leave a few down. Put blanket through and seal it up.
Well, it's gone with the man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Can I come back to you in a half an hour? And I'm watching a man doing a very important, tricky job. And tricky job. Yeah. All right, thanks, bye.
And aren't you supposed to send a notice of enforcement before you turn up 7 days before? I've had nothing. It's amazing how they've gone quiet now, isn't it?
The wasps are everywhere, sure. Wasps. No, it's in the wasps are everywhere. We have yeah.
Paul.
We said to hand.
Paul. Is it Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, Warrant that sent you. Have you got a name for me from SSE?
Just speak to random staff in office. We just ring. Anybody else can answer at any time.
So it's not been a specific name.
No, we get different
So
people. We ring up.
could
They
be a
just put
secretary
notes
that you're
on the
following
account.
orders
Just
of.
with notes on the account. That's what they do. They go through.
Right, got an account with him.
Well, they know what they've got registered and then what we come through.
So there's not one name that you know that I can write to.
They'll have it on there if you don't want to write to it.
I wrote to them before. They won't respond. They won't reply. That's why I need a name.
Yeah, I'll leave you.
Right to this guy's
I'll leave you a letter.
Yeah.
And I'll explain what you've done. An email or a number to contact.
Yeah. And can you put my name correct on it instead of putting
I'll feed
misspelling?
it back to them. That's
Yeah.
what I
Oh, it's not about them. They don't know my name. My mother named me, not them. And I'm telling you what I am known as.
Yeah, I'll feed it back as what you tell me, but it depends if they
Yeah.
change it down to them.
But this is what I'm saying. So that's fraud again because it's a discrepancy on a warrant. Because that's not my name.
Yeah. Well, I'll feed information back to them.
I told you this last
I know,
time.
yeah, I'll feed it back to them. So.
What you could do, Amanda, if you so wish, you can submit a subject access request.
I did that and I've been completely ignored.
Right.
You know, so what's lawful about what they're doing? You know, like they won't respond to me so I can get everything.
What was it, ombudsman?
Um,
The ICO is the next step after this. Yeah, well.
and they also know that they're not allowed to cut the supply off from a vulnerable. It's clearly stated on Ofgem's website.
Are you actually taking the fuse, did you say?
No, I'll take the fuse.
He's actually put the fuse in the bag.
Back on there, right.
He put the fuse in the bag.
Oh.
Tried to sneak that one away, didn't he?
Yeah, they'd have been lucky because I would have known and then I would have had them arrested for theft.
It'll save you from being arrested there, I think.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, by the way? Or was that a mistake?
Just standard practice.
Standard practice.
It's like when you give somebody a lighter and they put it in the pocket.
Under that kind of pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, leave it.
Take it in the old one, well, there are ones there.
Just got silk.
Thank you.
Very dangerous when you've got it on board.
I need to get back on that telephone to National Grid because I'm fed up of waiting for them to respond.
Would you like to buy that fuse while you're here? I believe it's £50,000.
They can have tails for 10 grand each.
Just motion, thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Sorry.
Back.
I hope you sleep well tonight.
Quite popular demand, mate.
So at this stage now, do you agree that your contract is finished with this lady completely?
I haven't got a contract with these.
We know that, but they still maintain that they had.
I've been
Just
out to
asking the
supply if
question.
the supply still it's registered. Yeah,
Supplied.
until it's moved off. So if your lady's applying to move to National Grid,
It is moved off.
So-
She has applied to
if she
National
applies to National Grid, then they'll
You've seen
apply to
letters.
SSE to take the supply from them. Once that's registered, that'll come off then.
They'll apply to SSE.
They'll apply to SSE to take that
But SSE doesn't.
registration-
We've
take that
established that SSE doesn't exist.
Well, I'm just saying, take that registration off that. Off that MPAN number.
I've never known so much fraud in my
They
life.
will then take it on if you choose to take it or another supplier. But at the moment, it's still registered as SSE supply.
You see, I think the reason why National Grid are not replying to me because I've asked them for a non-commercial agreement because I'm not commercial. I'm a woman. I'm a flesh and blood woman. I'm not a business. And that's what that all capital name is.
I can't understand why you keep quoting this SSE when they don't exist.
Plus, the name we're working on behalf of. So that's what we're doing on behalf of that.
So you're working on behalf of nobody?
It says I'm Mickey Mouse.
I wouldn't believe it.
I'd be, well, yeah. You know.
Can I ask you to delete that off your phone? That's my property you're taking a photograph of.
Just make sure left
No,
it.
no, 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 that's...
That's we left it, but that's it.
No, it doesn't matter. That's my property. What you're taking a photograph of. I'm asking you to delete it. You didn't get my permission. That's public. This is private.
But it's obviously-
You'll need my permission to take the photograph. Can you delete your photograph?
The electrician could have asked this gentleman to stop filming him doing his work.
I've given him permission because he's on my private property. And when he's in the public, he can film anyway as well, you know. I'm asking you very nicely, Paul, to delete them
I'll
photos.
just send it back and obviously gets back from my...
No, I don't want you to send it anyway. You haven't got my consent to do that. You're taking photographs in my private property and you need consent.
Just point out what I'm looking at.
You can't get involved because that's conspiring.
Do you want us to just verify so you got two people saying that equipment's been left in situ?
You can't conspire with this company. You're a public servant.
The colleague who's looking.
I don't care what you call it. You've took your photos. I've asked you to delete them. You're not deleting them. This is my private property and you need my consent to take photographs.
But it's all safe now as we left every...
It doesn't matter what you stop
your
taking it
equipment
off
on
the
site.
point and the fact that you'll need my consent
Still.
to take no, there's no still about it. You'll need my consent on my private property to take photographs. If you was out in the public, you can take as much film and photograph. You're breaching my privacy.
The fuse and tail's been left.
The fuse and tail's been left in there. Well, I'll go and get a letter for you, bring it back and that'll be...
Right, and make sure my name's on it and not Miss because that's not me.
Well, I didn't wrote it, just
No,
the
it's
company,
not
that's
about
it.
books and hands. I am not Miss.
You phone out.
So you're refusing to delete the photo?
They refuse to delete.
Delete it, I'm going to film the substance and that's it, thank you.
Prosecute.
I'll bring that letter back, of course, so thank you.
This is, you've been to the dining and coming back with a letter.
Have you ever been out to a job like that before?
Once or twice in the past, but it's never easy, is it?
I'm going to trip up now, aren't I?
Yeah. Be careful. How are you anyway? I've seen you about.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're a bit of a internet celebrity, aren't you?
No, no, don't say that. I'm not. There's a bigger fish than me. I'm just a fly in the ointment.
Fly in the ointment.
It's all about transparency at the end of the day and professionalism. That's where my videos are aimed at. If I'm a little bit of a problematic situation for somebody, I expect them to be professional and deal with me.
I don't think anybody today seen you as a problem element.
Some people do, yeah, some do.
No.
But you know, it entices your own.
You're always,
Fortunately, everybody was professional apart from the company that these guys are representing. You know.
What if the warrant turns out to be an illegal or unlawful warrant? Where does that leave you?
where does it
Because it's
leave
being
me?
brought to your attention.
I've not been exercising the warrant.
But you've been made aware it could be illegal or unlawful.
We'll come back to the police then if it's found to be fraudulent.
So you don't take that claim seriously at the moment then?
I would say that the onus is on the person contesting the warrant to take it back through the civil court.
You make a good diplomat.
Yeah, no.
I learn something every day. Thank you very much.
Credit where credit is due. I never thought I'd be praising a copper, but
It's not like, you know, it's not, I get 100% got to it's different.
clearly.
Always going to be a difficult situation for you. What's things like this?
Yeah, it's one of them things. It's just doing his job.
Yeah. May see you again.
Might do.
Well, it's nice to meet you again.
Yeah, have a good day, pal. Take care.
You too. Bye. Bye now.